You point Claude Code at your project, type what you want in plain English, and seconds later it's rewriting files across your whole code base, like it read every single line and understood all of it. And honestly, the first time, it really does feel like magic. But it isn't magic, and it doesn't actually understand your code at all, not one single line of it. And once you see what it's really doing underneath, you stop wishing at it and start driving it, and that's the whole difference. So here's the one idea to really hold on to. Claude Code doesn't understand anything at all. It matches patterns. Picture a librarian who has never read a single book, but has memorized the catalog of 10 million libraries all at once. Every title, every index card from 10 million libraries at once. All of it held inside one single mind. You ask for a book on ancient Rome, and this librarian has honestly no idea what Rome even is. But because that word sits next to certain titles and shelf codes across millions of catalogs, they walk you straight to the exact shelf without hesitating. That's the blind librarian, and it's basically what Claude does with your repo. No eyes, no running your program, only a memory of what sits next to what. So how does your code turn into something that machine can even work with? First, it gets shredded into little pieces called tokens. A keyword, a bracket, half of a word. So a file of a few hundred lines becomes tens of thousands of tokens. Then every token turns into a long list of numbers, a single point floating in a huge space of meaning. And the trick is that code which means similar things lands close together, so your function drops into a dense cloud of thousands exactly like it. Then billions of these numbers pour through a giant network, one that learned which token tends to follow which. There's no understanding anywhere in there, points on a map, and very, very good guesses about what comes next. Now, if it's only guessing the next token, why does it feel like it truly gets your code? The answer is the shape of that network. I think of it as a hotel of layers. Your code checks in at the front desk and rides an elevator up through hundreds of floors. And on every floor, a different crew studies it through a different lens. Some looking at pure syntax, some at what the code is trying to do. And the breakthrough is that on each floor, the crew can look at any other part of your code at the same moment, not only its neighbor. So at a function called deep in a file, it glances back to where it was defined, sideways to similar functions, and forward to where it's used. Stack hundreds of those floors together, and you get something that reads code with a richness. It really does start to look like understanding. Let's make this concrete. Say you tell it, refactor this authentication module. The weak way is to type that one line and turn it loose. Because it's vague, it fills the gaps with the most generic, average refactor it's ever seen. Something bland that only half fits your code. Now watch what changes when you ask it to write a plan first, before it touches a single file of yours. It lays out the steps. First find the correct auth patterns, then check for security holes, then carefully split the functions apart. And that plan isn't some inner genius waking up. It's the same pattern machine predicting the text that follows a good refactoring request. But by forcing it to plan, you've broken one fuzzy task into small, sharp, constrained steps. And small steps are what this thing nails. So the plan makes all the code that follows dramatically stronger. So ask it for the plan first, every single time. Now, here's the one that traps almost everybody, me included. When the model gets something wrong, your instinct is to hand it more. Paste in more files, drop in the whole repository, fill the context right up to the top, because surely more must mean a better answer. The context window is the model's working memory, the desk it works on, and it can only hold what fits on that desk at once. But cramming that desk completely full doesn't help you. It hurts. And the reason why is genuinely a little surprising. The model pays far less attention to whatever sits in the middle of a long context, far less than it pays to the very start or the very end. So the one detail you buried on page 40 of that giant paste drops straight into a dead zone and gets quietly ignored. The first time I leaned on one of these tools in a big code base, I did exactly this, gave it everything, and watched the answers get vaguer. So be picky. Hand it the few files that actually matter for the task right in front of it. Or better, let it reach in and pull the exact file it needs on demand, instead of dumping the whole project in and hoping. And being honest about the pattern machine is what saves you real pain, because some things it cannot do, no matter how you prompt it. It can reshape the syntax of your business logic, but it has no idea what your application is actually for. So the moment your request gets vague about what you want, it will very confidently go and build completely the wrong thing. It can make your code match the patterns already in your repo, but it can't tell you whether those patterns were a good idea, because that's a judgment call, and that one stays yours. Knowing exactly where that edge sits is what makes you faster, not slower. So is Claude Code magic? No. It's a blind librarian with a perfect memory of the catalog, thinking inside a hotel of layers where every floor sees everything at once, running billions of very good guesses about the next token. And the moment that clicks, the way you work with it flips, because you stop asking it for wisdom and start handing it patterns. Show it examples of how your code already works so it lands in the white paper. Ask for the plan so the job breaks into steps, and set sharp constraints so it's never guessing. Because in the end, the magic was never intelligence, it was mathematics, won over more code than any human could read in 1,000 lifetimes. And that's a tool you can actually learn to drive. Oh, and one quick thing before you go. I just launched a full course on working with Claude Code the right way. How to actually trust the AI and drive your project all the way to production. And a free module from it is waiting in the description below. So tell me in the comments if I do read these the most confidently wrong thing Claude Code ever did to your code. And if you like new AI made clear, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.